Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about functions of management in organization behavior. We'll look at two major functions, two functions given by two theorists, namely Henry Fayol as well as Henry Mintzberg. Let's start with Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol came out with five management functions. He called them POCCC, five functions of management. P stands for planning, O for organizing, C for commanding, another C for coordinating, and another C for controlling. So he named it popularly as POCCC. Let's look at them one by one. Planning stands for deciding in advance what is to be done, how it is to be done, where it is to be done, and who is to do it. So planning is the exercise which is the first exercise when a management starts with an organization or a new project. Planning involves deciding in advance because action has not yet started. We are still thinking about a project or an organization. So it is about deciding in advance what is to be done. First of all, it decides what is to be done in an organization, how an action is to take place, whenever execution will be done, how it will be done, where this execution will take place, and who is to do this. So this is the basic definition about planning, which sums up the entire activity of planning. Let's look at other definitions and functions of planning. Defining an organization's goals. This is one major function of planning because it tells us what are the goals of the organization so that we can plan to achieve those goals. Establishing strategy for achieving these goals. So after you have defined the organization's goals, you establish a strategy for achieving those goals. If the goal of KFC is more customer acquisition, or if the primary goal is customer satisfaction, then the strategies would differ. If it is about customer acquisition, then the strategy might be to go for predatory pricing or to go for very low prices in order to capture the market. Whereas if the primary purpose is customer satisfaction, then the actions would be different. Rather than going for direct low prices, the organization may go for some other strategy. Plan to integrate and coordinate activities. Planning is very important if you want to coordinate various activities and integrate various activities. Making and using assumptions regarding the future. So, this is very important because planning is for the future. So, you have to make certain assumptions. If McDonald's today starts a franchisee in Delhi in an area, it has to make certain assumptions regarding the footfall, expected footfall in that franchisee, and various other assumptions. So, those assumptions may or may not come true, but planning requires us to make those assumptions. It bridges the gap between where we are today and where we want to be. So, if McDonald's want to start a chain in some area in Maharashtra where there are no McDonald's, then it is trying to bridge the gap between where it wants to be and where it is today. It has no presence in that area, but in the next 5 years, it wants to be the primary food chain for the local people as well as tourists. So it is trying to bridge that gap. Planning is all about future course of action in an organization. These are the various features of planning. One more important thing, planning is done at the top level because at the lower level, uh, people are made responsible for execution of various activities, but at the top level and at the middle level, planning is the major activity. So here and here, planning is done, whereas at this stage, it is all about execution. Second is, an effective organization spends a lot of time here and very less or only the standard time here. Because if planning is efficient and effective, then execution will bound to be, or there are more probabilities of execution being more effective and successful. Whereas if planning is faulty, you don't know the area that you're getting into, you have not analyzed it well, then your execution will be faulty. Second function is organizing. There are three major activities under organizing. First is determining activities to be performed. So, what are the various activities which are to be performed at different levels of an organization, that is about organizing. Second is grouping them and assigning them to individuals. When you've determined various activities that are to be performed, then you group those activities. Let's take the example of McDonald's to understand this. There are various activities in a franchisee in any restaurant of McDonald's that you go into. There is cooking, then there is cashier, there is the manager, there is the cleaning part. So these are the various activities which happen in McDonald's. So you first of all determine what are the various activities which are to be performed if you have to start a new McDonald's franchisee. Secondly, you group them into similar activities. So, for example, in McDonald's, you can group them into activities inside the kitchen as well as activities outside the kitchen. So, you've grouped them into two parts and then you assign them to individuals. You hire individuals for their roles and then you assign those activities to different individuals. You train them, you tell them what is to be done, you monitor them regularly, and you assign those activities. Third is you create a structure of authority and responsibility. So, various people in the organization are to be given different levels of authority as well as different levels of responsibility. It is very important to understand that authority and responsibility flow parallel to each other. The more authority a person has, the more responsibility he is bound to have. So, they flow parallel to each other. They are complementary and not opposite to each other. So, the manager in the organization will have maximum responsibility as well as maximum authority, and the floor level worker will have minimum responsibility and minimum authority. So creating a structure of authority and responsibility is also part of organizing. So here you have organizing people as well as structure of the of an organization. You're organizing these two things. Let's look at the third one, commanding and coordinating. Now they are studied together under leading, so we'll look at them under one head only. Now, in various books, you will not find commanding and coordinating, whereas you will find leading. What do they mean independently? Commanding is about determining the course of action, giving orders and instructions, and providing leadership. So, commanding, if you think about military organizations, you'll understand this. A commander is one who gives orders, who gives instructions to his subordinates, and who provides leadership, who takes actions in the first instance and who leads by example, who determines what is to be done, what is the future course of action. So these various activities come under commanding. Whereas coordinating is about motivating employees, effective communication, conflict resolution, as well as direction of activities. So these activities come under coordination. So coordinating is about creating an effective communication system so that people are able to coordinate with each other. A perfect conflict resolution system, because when people work together in an organization, there are bound to be different conflicts. If there is no conflict resolution system, then the organization will break apart. So in order to make the organization stable, you need to have effective coordinating mechanism as well. Now they are studied together under leading. Let's look at the last one, controlling. Controlling has three major functions under it. First is regular monitoring, second is measurement and comparison, and third is taking corrective action. So the first one is regular monitoring of performance. So when an organization starts functioning, it is very important that the manager starts monitoring the performance of different individuals and the organization as a whole. Let's look at the example of McDonald's again. If a cook is cooking a burger in 3 minutes, whereas he is required to do it in under 2 minutes, if the standard time is 2 minutes. So the first step is monitoring of performance of that cook. So if you monitor it regularly for a month or for 15 days, you will notice that he's taking 2.5 to 3 minutes to cook a burger. Whereas what is the standard time? 2 minutes. So first of all, you monitor as to what is his performance. The second step, you compare it with standards. This is the standard, you compare it with the standards and you find out the reasons of why there is a difference. Is it the cook's fault that he is taking 3 minutes to cook it, or is it someone else's fault? Is the product, raw material which needs to be provided to him is not provided in advance? Are things not where they should be most of the time? What are the different reasons for more time being taken by the cook. And then third, you take corrective action. You try to minimize this difference. Now, taking corrective action depends upon finding out the actual reason of the difference. Is the actual reason capability of the cook? Is the cook not capable enough to cook it under 2 minutes? Is there a lack of training on the part of the cook? So you find out the reason and then you take corrective action. All these things come under controlling. If you combine these 5 functions of management, you will cover every part of an organization. As per Henry Fayol. Having covered Henry Fayol, let's move to the next one, which is Henry Mintzberg. In 1973, he came out with 3 heads which define the roles of managers in an organization: interpersonal, informational, as well as decisional. Now, the subheadings or subfunctions under interpersonal, informational, and decisional will flow from the names itself. They're very easy to understand. As you can see, the first one is dealing with people, interpersonal, dealing with people. Second is informational, information, dealing with information. And third is decisional, dealing with decisions. There are different subheadings under these 3. We'll look at them one by one. Interpersonal is as a figurehead, as a leader, and as a liaison. Informational is monitoring, disseminator, and spokesperson. And decisional is entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. So there are 4 subheads under decisional, whereas 3 subheads under informational and interpersonal. Let's look at them one by one. Interpersonal, the first one is as a figurehead. As a figurehead, a manager is supposed to do 2 things. First of all, he is supposed to act as a symbolic head for the organization. For example, Dr. Raghuram Rajan is the symbolic head of RBI. So he is the one who acts as figurehead for the organization. And second is he has to complete some legal as well as social duties. So legal duties would be signing various documents. Social duties would be receiving visitors. So Dr. Rajan and some other managers are the symbolic heads, as well as they are the ones who perform legal and social duties for the organization. So both of them are dealing with people. That is why they come under interpersonal. So he acts as a figurehead of the organization. Second is leader. A manager is required to motivate and direct various employees. So again, dealing with people, a manager is required to motivate employees under him as well as direct them. This is the activity which comes under interpersonal. Third is liaison. Liaison is networking. So he is required to act as a link between the organization as well as outside contacts like the government, community, suppliers. So Dr. Rajan is the liaison who talks to the government, who links RBI with the government, who deals with the government. So whenever there are any inconsistencies between what RBI thinks and what the finance ministry thinks under the government, then Dr. Rajan is supposed to act as a liaison and resolve those disputes. These are the interpersonal activities, functions. Second is informational. Under information, again 3 subheads: monitoring, disseminator, and spokesperson. Remember, we are dealing with information here. So under monitoring, he is supposed to gather information to be well informed. So you're required to gather information about the organization as well as whatever is happening outside the organization. That is the monitoring of information. Second is disseminator, transmission of outside information to members of the organization. Here, what you are required to do, you are required to transmit information, outside information, to members of the organization. So various members of the organization, employees of the organization, are looking for information, genuine information. You provide it to them as an activity of disseminator. That is the function of management or the manager inside the organization. Third is spokesperson, transmits information to outsiders. So the government, the people are always looking for information from the RBI. What the RBI thinks about the economy, what is it looking forward to doing in the next 2 months. So all that transmission of information to outsiders happens through the spokesperson, happens through the manager, and this is where informational role comes into play. Let's look at the final one, decisional. There are 4 subheadings here: as an entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator, and negotiator. Entrepreneur, as the name suggests, he has to look after new opportunities and initiate new projects. So there are various new projects which happen every day, every moment in various organizations. So the managers or the management is required to act as entrepreneurs and take decisions whether to go with those activities or not. Second is disturbance handler. There are always disturbances inside and outside the organization. The management is required to act as disturbance handler and take decisions. For example, what happened in Maruti plant in Manesar in Gurgaon was an activity where the management could not act as good disturbance handlers. They could not handle the situation well, and that is why the violence erupted. So, it is the responsibility of the management to act as disturbance handlers under decisional role of an organization. Third is resource allocator, allocating physical, human, and monetary resources. Now, various people in the organization are required to be paid. They are required to be allocated certain physical as well as human resources. So, all those things are decided by the management, by the top and middle level management. That is where this resource allocator function comes into play. Last is negotiator, representing organization at various negotiations. For example, Prime Minister Modi is the negotiator for India. So, if India is an organization, then PM Modi is the negotiator who goes out and represents India and take decisions for India. So, whatever he takes, decisions he takes uh, when he goes outside when he goes to other countries and negotiates with different people, he is dealing with the decisional role of organization management. Having covered these, let's look at some questions. First is, which type of organization function is more effective? One that spends maximum time on planning and least time on execution. I discussed this when I was talking about planning. So, the most effective organization function is one that spends maximum time on planning and least time on execution. The second one is one that spends minimum time on planning. So, if an organization is spending minimum time on planning and maximum on execution, it may think or it may start argumenting that it is not wasting time on planning, whereas it is trying to utilize its time by executing whatever it plans or whatever the requirements are. Whereas, if planning is not efficient or effective, then execution is bound to be unsuccessful. If you don't know what type of uh, outlook you want for a restaurant, if you don't plan, if you think that we'll start executing and then we'll decide what type do we want, then there will be a lot of if and buts when you start executing, and that will waste a lot of time resources, money resources, and human resources. So it is very important that you spend maximum or the required time on planning and then execute. Second question, consider the following statements about planning. First, it increases at managers move from low level to higher level. Second, it decreases at managers move up in management levels. Third, it remains the same at both low level and high level of management. The correct answer is 1. It increases as managers move from low level to higher level. So, as I told you when I was talking about planning, the lower level is concerned about execution, whereas the higher level is concerned about planning. So, planning function increases as managers move from low level to higher level. In the next class, we are going to talk more about management functions and various other things about organization behavior. Till then, take care and goodbye.